Brandon Aiyuk tweeting at Steelers coach Mike Tomlin, creating more drama. The drama continues to build as Brandon Aiyuk trade rumors get thrown all around Twitterville, and AKA X. And again, granted and admittedly, I'm admitting here that we have no factual information whatsoever about whether Brandon Aiyuk's going to get traded. In fact, we've heard reports that refute some of the other reports that we talked about yesterday and the day before, that there was a potential Jaguar trade on the table for Brandon Aiyuk. That's been refuted by sources. So there's so much smoke going on right now. You have to understand that. There's so much smoke. We're here to dissect it. We're here to sometimes shoot it down. We're here to just give our interpretation of the smoke in case there's some truth to it. We're here to report on what we know. Brandon Aiyuk tweeting out Coach Mike Tomlin saying, "We're twins. What do you think?" And everybody's laughing about this, saying that it's a nothing type situation. But the Steelers are very linked at this current moment in time to being an interested team in Brandon Aiyuk, whether the Niners are or not. And for Brandon Aiyuk to toy around and poke around at this topic makes you wonder where his mindset is. Is he going to request a trade? At some point he will, because the leverage is on his side, on this side of the draft. Once he gets through the NFL draft, all the teams that might need a wide receiver are going to button up their wide receiver room. The leverage for Aiyuk is now, and his agent knows that. And the Niner way of waiting until August, or let's say they do something in April or May, that's not what his agent's going to like to hear. And that's not what Aiyuk wants to hear. And every single one of these contracts that just come flying in increases the value. Mike Williams just signed. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
More breaking news, some of it obviously smoke. We're in the middle of smoke season, but every single thing that pops up just, it creates some sort of buzz on Twitter. It creates some sort of buzz in a DM conversation over and over. Like the more DMs I get on something, the more I know I got to go address something, whether it's me just shooting it down or not. And this particular piece of news, we'll get to the Mike Williams stuff in a second. Mike Williams signed a 1-year, $15 million deal with the Jets. I'll go over all that in a second. How that impacts the Aiyuk situation potentially, and how we view it from a fantasy perspective and a New York Jet perspective. But the news right now that just pisses off Niner fans is and Raj saying bro was crying in our group chat. If I remember correctly, Raj, that was you guys crying because I said Aiyuk's mad. I said Aiyuk's mad, and in our group chat, Raj ends up saying, Raj, if you want to air out our private chat, that's fine. But Raj says, they're laughing. They always laugh at me because of what I say about the Niners. They think that there isn't any sort of negative effect going on. Absolutely zero negative effect. No potential drama is going to build from dragging this thing out, which is hilarious to me. Hold on, we got some gifted memberships coming in. I don't know if that's Perps dropping massive gifted memberships. Let me mute that real quick. Perps, thank you. Appreciate you. Perps dropping. I think this was Perps. Who dropped this? Maybe this wasn't Perps. Let me see. Gifted memberships. Deckard, 5 gifted memberships. Deckard to the moon.
To the moon.
Deckard to the freaking moon. But yeah, so if Raj, if you want to bring it out, here's what Raj is saying. Raj is saying, "Oh, Smitty, how crazy of you to assume that Aiyuk's mad." I said Aiyuk's mad as soon as the Mike Williams news came in, and they're laughing at me in the group chat. Oh, why would Aiyuk be mad? Why would Aiyuk be mad? Am I the only one in the chat group? You guys are so blinded by your Niners situation. You don't think that every contract that comes in doesn't piss off Brandon Aiyuk? Are you guys out of your minds? This is what's so funny about people that are just all about their team and they don't see anything. They don't see the forest from the trees. They don't see anything. They basically just feel like everything is going to be okay. When Brandon Aiyuk is probably getting pissed off, creating animosity between the player and the team, then eventually the fan base can't end well. And if we're being honest, if you guys want to drag out the private conversation, what happened between us is you guys said that it didn't end bad for Debo. It didn't end bad for Debo. How did it not end bad for Debo? Debo played like shit the year after he signed the year coming off of that extension because he sat out. He wasn't in tune with the offense, and he blamed it on Shanahan because when Shanahan and him met, his exact words were, "We put it behind us." Clearly pissed off about how he was treated. The animosity between the Niner fan base and Debo is awful. If you think that if you think that Aiyuk isn't pissed off at every contract that comes strolling in, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Like, what would make you think he likes seeing all these people get the bag? How is that hard to comprehend? It's hilarious to me. Absolutely hilarious. How did it end bad? How did it end bad? Went to the Super Bowl, became captain. What are you not understanding, Raj? What are you not understanding? I don't get it. It ended bad because Debo played like shit. It affected him the whole year. What are you talking about? You're trying to bring in last year? Debo was a moon man on this show last year. I loved Debo Samuel last year. We thought Debo was going to the moon. He absolutely went to the moon. Last year had nothing to do with it. The year that Debo was holding out all year long, it ended very badly. Do you not remember that? I don't think Raj remembers that. I think he's got a little bit of a bad memory going on here. Hilarious. Niners fans, look, they're just, I don't blame the Niner fans. They've got goggles this big on. They literally do, and I don't blame them. But if they think this isn't a bad situation brewing, they don't know what's going on outside of their situation. This guy is going to request a trade. He's going to request a trade unless the Niners smarten up and sign him and extend him before the NFL draft. His agent has an obligation to him to say, hey, all these deals are happening. All these wide receiver room opportunities are getting wiped off the board. As soon as the Niners... as soon as all these teams draft incoming NFL wide receivers and all the wide receiver rooms are buttoned up, you don't have any trade opportunities. Trade requests, same with Tyreek Hill. Under contract, still requested a trade. He still requested a trade because he thought it was good leverage. He actually admitted, Tyreek Hill, that he would not, 100%, he would not want to get traded out of KC. He didn't want to, but it opened up doors because they didn't want to pay him. Then he started getting into the taxes, and the main reason he ended up going elsewhere is because he got paid a whole lot more due to taxes in the state and all that. So this is not something that can't open a Pandora's box that you can't close back up 100%. But once these wide receiver rooms are all filled up, there's no leverage. So Aiyuk is going to request a trade at some point. But it's crazy to me. BA just wants to know if he looks like Tomlin. Sure, Raj. Sure, all of the Niner hopefuls. Look, you guys know I don't have any ill will toward Aiyuk, Debo, or Niner players. You guys know I actually talk about how good of an OC Shanahan is. He's one of the best OCs in the National Football League, but he's one of the worst decision makers around personnel. He botched the Debo situation. He botched the Jimmy G situation for years. And all the Niner people that come in and give me crap about everything that I say about Niners and that I'm a hater toward the Niners and everything, where are you at now with the Jimmy Garoppolo situation? You guys ready to admit I was right all along when you kept defending this man as your elite quarterback? Aiyuk is the benefactor of the scheme, says Peanut Butter and Jelly. I like Aiyuk a lot. I think he needs to stay. I think he probably ultimately will stay. Me saying requesting a trade does not equal Aiyuk getting traded. Like, let me make that abundantly clear because people like to hear what they want to hear. But at the end of the day, He's going to have to request a trade if the Niners are not budging until after the NFL draft. That's just the bottom line. Every deal that comes down makes it more difficult. Every deal that comes down, especially the Ridley deal. The Ridley deal, let me pull that up, was $92 million. If I could find the Ridley deal, I'll throw it on screen here. This Ridley contract was absolutely ludicrous. And what it does to this situation is makes things very complicated. Because if Calvin Ridley can come out and get a freaking $92 million, 50 fully guaranteed 4-year deal, Aiyuk's price tag just went up. And the problem is, and if my Niner fans are being honest with themselves, they know that the Niners are probably setting aside a certain amount of money that's not subject to the increases that are going to go on around it. And so the problem is you're going to come to the table with a number that's so much lower than what Aiyuk wants at the time of signing, when maybe he would have done something around that territory and you could have worked together had you just extended him at the beginning. And my Niner people know that the Niner way is to wait on signing Aiyuk. The Niner way is to wait. The Niner way is to wait for what? For what? To create animosity? Because that's all it does. Because then if you request a trade, answer this question for me, Raj. Since you're in the chat and you want to try and rile this situation up, which is fine by me, but answer this question. If he requests a trade, what does your fan base do? What does 50% of your fan base say to Aiyuk if he requests a trade and plays the game? What do they say? Get out of here. You're a bum. We don't want you anymore. Just let him leave then. If he wants to go, you know how toxic what you just said. If you're going to air out the chat and say what I said in the private chat, you said that the fan base is toxic. So that was coming from you. The fan base is toxic. They're going to be toxic about the situation. So this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well. And when I say not going to end well, and Ross says something like, how did it not end well? Look what we did last year. How did it not end well? Debo played like garbage the first year after the extension because of the Niner way. So if anybody thinks Aiyuk won't play like garbage, he's going to play like absolute garbage if he's sitting out the entire offseason wanting a deal, waiting on the Niners. If they're smart, they'll give him his extension before the NFL draft and avoid all this, because the fan base will get toxic. The fan base will come for Aiyuk's neck. And so when I say this makes Aiyuk mad, it makes Aiyuk mad. Because why is this guy? You tell me, Raj, you tell me, how does this not make him mad? He watches another wide receiver that doesn't deserve $15 million for 1 year. Mike Williams doesn't deserve crap. And no one's saying he's getting paid more than Aiyuk. You can keep saying what you want and dissecting this how you want. What I'm saying is every contract, you don't think the Ridley deal pissed off Aiyuk? Look how he is getting respected. I'm getting nothing from my team, which reportedly are far apart. Maybe those are smoke rumors too. But if you think that potentially a deal can't get triggered by animosity being completely far apart, you're crazy, because Tyreek Hill shouldn't have been traded, wasn't going to get traded. He ended up getting traded. At the end of the day, I don't think Aiyuk gets traded. I don't think Aiyuk gets traded at the end of the day. Could he? Yes. Is there a 0% chance? No. Is it like a 10% chance he gets traded? Probably something along the lines of 10%, something that gets forced later when there's animosity created. But ultimately, if he's not getting traded at the end of the day, and this is the kind of stuff that's like, you're not listening. You're not listening. I'm not worried about it. It'll get done. You're not listening. I just said that. It's probably getting done. He's probably going to get an extension, bro. But after what cost, media? You're not paying attention. You're just hearing what you want to hear. You're hearing what you want to hear, which is, oh, eventually it'll get done. I can't tell you how many comments are out. No, I'm not worried he's not getting traded. That's not what I'm saying. You're not listening. You're not listening. It's like somebody who looks at my post, watches it, hears it, and they're a Niner fan, they immediately go, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. There's no way he's getting traded, Smitty. Yeah, no shit, he's probably not getting traded, Bob. No shit. No shit. Are you listening to what I'm saying? He's probably not getting traded. God. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Is there a chance? Yes. But is he going to probably get traded? Probably not. Is there going to be animosity? Correct. Will he request a trade? Probably. Will this be dragged out unnecessarily? Probably. Will this be bad at the end of the day for the 2024 play of Aiyuk? Probably. If it gets dragged out long enough, there you go. How'd it work for Debo? Not well. Did I say anything about 2024 or 2023? No. I'm talking about Debo's first year coming off the extension. Very bad outcome. Very bad outcome. This right here, I don't understand. Mike Williams signing a one-year deal worth $15 million. I don't get this at all. I don't get this at all. Do I like that they bring in somebody? Sure. I don't mind that they bring in Mike Williams, but coming off major injury, can't stay healthy. Is 1 year, so not a big commitment or long-term hamper, but I don't like he shouldn't be getting paid $15 million a year. This is setting an unbelievably crazy market space for the wide receivers, and that's what makes this so difficult and probably pisses Aiyuk the hell off, because now he's watching a guy like Mike Williams get 15 mil, which he's clearly going to soar over, but it all bumps the values up. It all makes Aiyuk want more than 23 million now. 92 million 4 years, 23 million a year, 50 million guaranteed. Aiyuk might have accepted that or even a touch lower had they had the conversation before the Ridley deal got signed. I think Aiyuk would have been very tempted to sign this exact deal. Now Aiyuk won't be. So, yeah, there could be a lot of incentives in this as well. So when those details, which are probably because I came live right when it happens, I digest this stuff as it happens. So we'll break down the actual details of the deal. If they are incentive based and there's some things in it that let me pull up the deal. I'll see if we can figure out what the details are while we're live on the air. But anyway, bad deal for the Jets, says Tyler. I don't know if it's a bad deal if it's a 1 year deal. You know, you're giving Aaron Rodgers a chance, but I just don't know that he should be getting paid that much. Like bad deal. Overpaid. Good to get a receiver in there, sure. But like, how many games is he going to play? 4, 5, 6? Very overpaid. Revenge tour, probably not. Kurt or Blent, not a revenge tour guy. No question about it. He's not touching the revenge tour board, bro. And then we got the Judy extension, which is yet another piece of news that's going to drive up the value of Brandon Aiyuk, which is just unfortunate because like I said, I don't even know if it's gonna do anything. I don't know if it's gonna do anything to the valuation of. Here's the Judy deal. Let me send this over to myself and we'll put it on the screen here. All right, here we go. Here it is. Judy. $58 million. $58 million to Jerry Judy. How much of that is guaranteed? It was like 40 something mil guaranteed. Let me see. It was 40. Let's see here. 41 million guaranteed. 41 million guaranteed. Does this piss off Brandon Aiyuk? Yes. You bet your bottom dollar. That's logic. So, like, Raj and the guys are yelling at me in the chat saying I'm crying. They're the ones crying. They're the ones crying over my comment. I said this made Aiyuk mad, and then they started flipping out about it. What do you mean make him mad? Why would it make him mad? Why would it make him mad? Why would it make him mad? Because logic tells you when somebody doesn't deserve to get paid bank gets paid bank when you're in almost holdout mode. Do you want to return to the Niners if it's the right thing? That's what Aiyuk said. when he was asked by a reporter, do you want to return to the Niners in 2024? He said if it's the right thing to do, if it's the right deal. So he's clearly not happy with his situation. And you see a guy like this guy get a $41 million guaranteed dollar amount, $58 million, 3 years. This complicates it because now he's guaranteed $41 million on 3 years, not $41 million on 4 years. So it's a different deal. It's structured different. So that creates, someone would say, oh, it's 41. Aiyuk's going to get 50. Yeah, but now it's all adding up. It's all building up. It's all making Aiyuk more expensive. The problem is the Niners probably don't care. They probably have set aside, like they always do, a certain amount they want to spend on Aiyuk, and that's all there is to it. And they want him to wait until after the NFL draft so his leverage goes away. He doesn't have leverage, Smitty. He's under contract, Smitty. So are a lot of receivers. That's the whole point in the way they play this game. They tug and pull, and they try and get leverage where they can. Leverage is creating a scene, not being there. That's a problem. Niners want him there to build rapport with his quarterback. They're still trying to develop all of this. It's not like it's all ready to go, and they smashed it and didn't have any any sort of issues with Purdy and being the quarterback he needed to be at the end of the day. They're still developing this guy. You don't think they want Aiyuk out there developing with him in the offseason? You think so? There is leverage. But Jerry Jeudy getting $58 million, 41 guaranteed, is going to cause some problems because now Aiyuk is going to say, give me more. And Tyreek Hill made this abundantly clear when he was interviewed later on after his contract. He said he was expecting this, and then he saw this deal, and then he was like, oh, hell, if he's getting that, I changed my mind. I want that. And so it definitely, Tyreek Hill said, influences you when you see other people getting deals. That's what's so hilarious to me, that me saying Aiyuk is mad when he sees this, that's a stretch. I think that's pretty damn accurate. I think everybody in here that can think logically about it can understand that. Let's see here. Browns desperately trying to do anything to get them over the hump. Look, at least they're bringing in a decent number of backup quarterbacks because we know that Watson's not going to work out. At some point, Watson's going to end up turning into Watson. Tyreek never wanted out, just like Aiyuk doesn't want out. Exactly what I've said for months. That Tyreek Hill said, I requested a trade not because I wanted to leave, because my agent told me to, or that we were going to. And so it was part of a leverage game. Tyreek Hill said, we want to trade, I guess. Opened a door that they didn't know would open. Then all of a sudden the financials started getting involved. He was ready to sign a deal, he said. Then he saw this deal over there happen. He said, holy crap. Now my price tag went up. Then he was told about taxes and how much more money he'd save. And then they started working on deals to try and equate. If we up the deal over here in KC, it has to be a higher amount to equal this deal over here, given the taxes. It has to be an even take-home situation. It got really messy, and he got traded. Which, in some ways, you got to say to yourself, like, how do these players get the leverage? How do they actually facilitate and initiate trades when they're under contract? It's crazy the NFL and these teams grant these players the power to decide that being upset can make you get a trade triggered, And the Niners are the one kind of team that most likely will not give in to that type of pressure. Let's put that out there, which is why you hear me say over and over, is it likely that Aiyuk's getting traded? Not likely. Is there a chance? Absolutely. As I said, 10% maybe 15% chance he gets traded if things get so ugly. If the Niners and him are so far apart and they get let me explain how this works, because a lot of people just they don't use logic. They don't. And no offense to anybody in here that's just saying Aiyuk won't get traded. It's just all there is to it, Smitty. He's not going anywhere no matter what. No matter what, Smitty. Let me tell you how it works. Okay? Request a trade. Okay, the team says fine. Let's see if you have a market. Let's see if anybody's going to come a knocking. We don't want to trade Aiyuk. The Niners have said we don't want to trade Aiyuk. And the reports are that they even shot down that crazy Jaguar situation that we said could be smoke. It was out there. We had to address it. I'm always going to address it. If there's a rumor that's spreading like wildfire, I'll come in to discuss it. I'll come in to tell you whether I think it's factual. I'll come in to tell you how much I think is smoke, how much is not. I'll always do that. If you don't want that, this is what this show is. But this is how it works, okay? A player requests a trade. The team that does not want to trade them will say, we're not trading him. We're not trading him. We're not trading Aiyuk, okay? We're not trading him. Hello? Yes, this is the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're here to give you an offer you can't refuse. We're not trading Brandon Aiyuk, okay? We're not trading him. We're just not. But what if we give you the 20 overall pick? Hold on. Are we trading Aiyuk? Yeah, let's go ahead and ship him off. Okay, we didn't expect this. We'll go ahead and do that deal. Send Aiyuk. Red Rover, send Aiyuk right over. Boom. That's the reality. For all you that think just because the Niners say we're not trading him, we have no interest in trading him, if Aiyuk gets to the point where him and his agent say we're requesting a trade, and the Niners don't have to grant it, etc., but if they say perception, we better do this, and they get a knock or a phone call that says, hey, we'll overpay, they will then entertain something they may not have wanted to entertain. That's the way it works. And I know a Niner fan doesn't want to hear that. I know a Niner fan says that it's not going to happen, but that's how these things end up opening a door that no one thought would be opened, or there would be nothing on the other side. That's the nature of trade requests and drama. So that's why there's a 10% chance Aiyuk could get traded. You don't know what can happen the moment you open that door. And I blame it on the Niners. I blame it on the Niner way, because all they do is wait. Why wait? Why wait to extend Aiyuk? You're only creating animosity between player and team and player soon to be fan base, because the fan base is going to let him have it. And if you don't agree with me on that, you're lying to yourself. Because no one defended Debo more than I did. I went into Raj's live stream and all the Niner stuff. I defended Debo more than they did. They were all talking about Debo this, screw Debo that, screw Debo that. They all were saying that. The fan base, 50% was, let Debo go. We don't need him anyway. We don't need him anyway. I was defending him more than they were. The Niner fan base got nasty toward Debo. And if you think that the leverage move, that doesn't mean he's going to get traded, of, hey, I'm Brandon Aiyuk, I need a trade, isn't going to create the same kind of, get out of here then, we don't need you, by the Niner fan base, you aren't paying attention. So when I say a Ridley deal pisses off Aiyuk, it's probably because he doesn't want to go down this road. You're telling me that if somebody unqualified in your job gets paid bank and you're still waiting on your raise, you're not mad? To the original question that Raj is saying, whatever he's saying on, which is crazy. Here it is. Here's the original thing by Raj, which quite honestly, Raj, I don't know what would make you think this was gonna end well here, coming in and saying this. Smitty is gonna say BA is mad. Oh, like it's such a funny thing. LOL. If Raj, someone in your workplace got a big fat raise and you're waiting on your review and no one wants to review you, Raj, they don't want to review you. They're going to review you in December. But they're going to review Billy Boy at the front desk who does nothing. You carry Billy Boy's weight and he gets a big fat raise and you're going to watch him. Are you going to stand and give him an applause and say, Billy Boy got the big fat extension? Love it. I'm absolutely thrilled for Billy Boy. Billy Boy getting it done. Attaboy, Billy. Attaboy, Billy. You think Aiyuk isn't mad when he sees a bunch of bums getting $92 million, $50 million guaranteed, and his own franchise who just did Debo dirty when they made him create animosity between him and the fan base, a fan base that loved Debo And let me tell you this, Debo's one of the most likable guys in the National Football League. The guy's always smiling, doesn't have a mean bone in his body, and you had half the fan base going for his neck. The same thing that happened when Raheem Mostert got hurt. Half the fan base was giving him all kinds of nonsense. A lot of people throwing like threats at him. Oh, he can't stay healthy. It's crazy to me how I'm in here defending the player more than the fan base is. And so when you say, LOL, Smitty gonna say BA's mad, of course he's mad, Raj. Why would he not be mad? Are you happy when the bum gets a salary raise over you? No, it's common sense. It's common sense. Oh, Judy, 41 million guaranteed. Yeah! Now, maybe he's happy because it gives him maybe higher value, but the Niners are over there going, yeah, Ridley's contract doesn't have any bearing on you, Aiyuk. We've set aside $21 million per year for you. Whatever Ridley does isn't going to change that. I think Ron Navy gifted some memberships here. Let me see if Ron Navy dropped. I think Ron Navy dropped something here. Gifted memberships. We got Decker dropped 5. Appreciate that, Decker. Decker to the freaking moon. Deckard, I think, gifted another 5 memberships. And then Ron Navy gifted 10 memberships. I don't know why. I gotta fix this because my alerts aren't coming through. And then I think I got a couple of super chats. So this should fix it right here, and I should be alerted when things occur. Thank you guys for dropping the gifted memberships. Appreciate you. Okay. This right here, Deckard, $2 hauler. Let's go. Appreciate you. Love all the fam. Hit that like button. Thank you, Deckard, for the $2 haulers. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you guys for the gifted memberships. You guys absolutely rock. Hilarious, man. Absolutely hilarious. Let's see here. Let's see what some of the comments are. We're going to open the phone lines in a second. We got 426 people in here. Hit that thumb up button on your way in the door. Appreciate you all. 49ers would get mad at their own mother if she requested a trade, says Matt O. Look, we also got Blackbeard, who's a diehard Niner fan. And Blackbeard is very logical. And he'll defend the Niners whenever he feels like he needs to in here. He can speak his mind, but he says frustrating, poor management, and I don't blame him. It's frustrating how the Niners wait to pay deserving players. Debo went through this and even said he wasn't ready for the season because he wasn't focused and he was out of shape. And he said he put it behind him, meaning like he was pissed off about it. He blamed Shanahan and the organization for his bad year. Now he takes accountability and says, I'll never put that kind of tape out there ever again. But he 100% made it very abundantly clear that he was not happy about how it went down. And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen to Aiyuk. Now, I do feel like they're a little bit more under the gun to get this done before August, let's say. But you try and do this after the draft, you're going to have Aiyuk's camp say no. No. Look at all these wide receivers and all these extensions. Not to mention, doesn't extending Aiyuk give the Niners more money? It's going to cost them less in 2024. It makes no sense to wait. Because you always do it this way. It's your precedent. I'm going to set a precedent here. Well, Deebo Samuel was a running back, wide receiver, wide back, put his body on the line. And the disrespect the organization showed him by waiting, it caused him to have a very bad year. So, unbelievable, to be honest with you. And inexcusable by the Niners to do this again, when you clearly know what kind of effect it has on the player and the team. And if I was a Niner fan, I wouldn't be in here mad at me, like Raj clearly is. He's mad at me because I said Aiyuk's mad. Like, what a ridiculous thing to think's crazy. Aiyuk's mad. How is he not mad? I would love for people to tell me if I'm right or wrong. Tell me if you think I'm right. Do you think Aiyuk is mad or happy that these wide receivers got paid and he hasn't got paid? I would love to know in the chat. If I'm off base, put Happy or mad? Happy or mad? Is Aiyuk happy for everybody? Is he doing the whole mashed potato? I like it. Or is he upset? Not because other people are doing well, but because it's like I'm waiting for my bag and I'm watching less deserving guys get monster contracts and being taken care of. So I'd love to know. I'd love to know if I'm off base here. So happy or mad? Let's just see. Let's just see what the chat thinks. I'll throw comments on screen. I know the Niner logos aside from Blackbeard will probably say, Smitty, he's not going anywhere, because they're not listening to what I'm saying. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the vote thinks, because, you know, maybe I'm frustrated for sure. Theo says mad. Mark says mad. The money is only going to make it tougher to juggle. Sean says he's happy. Mad. So far, one vote. You are right. He is mad, says Tyler. I mean, you tell me. You tell me I'm wrong. Because literally every single person, and people are not afraid to admit that they feel differently in this chat, just so you know. Mad. He want his bag. He'll get paid somewhere, says Prime. This is what could open the door to a trade, because like I said, somebody might say, hey, Smitty, he's not going anywhere. Herbert to the Vikings for 2 first-rounders. Runner boy, it needs to happen. It needs to happen because this Harbaugh guy character, Harbaugh keeps talking up J.J. McCarthy. Well, show us you're not bluffing. Show us you're not bluffing, pal. Send him to the Lions. Not mad, but annoyed. Look, JCIM, we're splitting hairs here. Mad, annoyed. I think we can assume that those are very, very close, parallel feelings. Every time some bum gets the bag, Aiyuk makes more money. Sean, if it wasn't the Niners, maybe. That's part of the problem. And I've already alluded to that I don't think they're going to up the price. I think they're going, well, it is what it is for him. We got our money set aside for this. It's in a little account already earmarked for Aiyuk. Maybe they nudge themselves a little bit in that direction. But no, it creates potentially a problem of no contract. They're very far apart right now, according to numerous reports. Let's see here. You're saying he's mad as a Niner fan. It's a business. You're saying he's mad as a Niner fan. It's a business. Okay. He doesn't let any of the personal feelings get involved. I didn't know that. Jerry Jeudy contract probably pissed him off, says Snowman from IG. It would piss me off. What's he going to do? Sit out? No. McBoy, I've already explained it. He's going to request a trade. At the end of the day, he doesn't have as much leverage as he believes he does have. These players have almost no leverage. But requesting the trade, that's their leverage. Create some problems. You know? Create some problems. He can't go anywhere. Exactly, already said that, McBoy. So thank you for stamping approval on what I've already made very abundantly clear. He has no leverage. Thank you. Appreciate that. That breakfast sandwich Mike Williams had must have been amazing. Yeah, they took care of him. Very, very good. So what if you request a trade? Go rewatch. I don't want to explain the whole show to you again. Go rewatch the whole show, pal. Because you clearly aren't hearing me, or you just missed the entire show. Here we go again. Aiyuk coming to Steeltown. Look, I mean, you tell me why he would. Clearly, he's trying to create some waves and get the Niners to get moving. Right? I'm going to create some drama. I'm going to make it very uncomfortable for the Niners. You don't tweet like these things out and poke at the bear, your own organization, because you know it's creating problems for the organization, because people are going to report on it and people are going to talk about it. It's going to come up in the questions and answer sessions. It's going to be all over the place. You don't do this if you're not pissed off at your organization. Can we agree on that? Can everybody agree that if BA was not trying to piss off the Niners or nudge them, he wouldn't be doing things like this in the middle of, okay, could the Jaguars go after him? Could the Steelers go after him? There's clearly interest in Pittsburgh in Brandon Aiyuk. We just don't know or have any confirmation whatsoever that the Niners would even entertain anything. And we've in fact heard rumors, which could be rumors too, mind you, that they have zero interest in trading him. They haven't received offers, according to reports, about the Jaguars pick. It seems to be complete fabrication, as was the Mike Florio report about, even though it ended up right, Mike Florio said that Kirk Cousins called Kyle Pitts about the number 8 jersey. And he didn't. Kyle Pitts said he didn't. He tweeted back immediately. McBoy says, I agree he's mad and wants the bag. Thank you for rewatching, McBoy. Appreciate you. He's not mad. He's just poking the market. Okay. Runner boy, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Send Higgins to the Niners for Aiyuk, says Matt O. I don't know how that would accomplish anything, though, bro, because Higgins wants a big fat deal. Ayuk's better than Higgins by a country mile. So why would that, you know what I mean? He does look like Tomlin's son, says the snowman. Even more reason why this thing could go down. As soon as they take the test, the paternity test, they might be executing a trade before we know it. Drama. Steelers will trade for Aiyuk to feature Calvin Austin in their offense. Okay. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Okay. Prime, appreciate you. Let's see. We got some gifted memberships coming in still. If I missed anybody, Ron Navy dropping a $20 hauler. Ron Navy to the moon.
Alert. Super chat alert.
All right. Here comes Omar going to snag Aiyuk. Hands up. Rocket ships. Ron Navy's excited. I think I don't know, like the only thing you could do, and again, this is for all the Niner fans that think that this can't happen, you know, have to stir the pot. You do have to stir the pot. That's why I say there's only a 10% chance a deal could actually get done, that it makes sense that a deal could get done, right? Is that you stir the pot and you open some door like Tyreek Hill and his agent opened. Nobody expected Tyreek Hill to actually get traded. Tyreek Hill said, there's no way I was getting traded in my mind. I didn't want to leave. I didn't think I was going to leave. I only accepted the trade request situation so that we could get this contract done. And so Aiyuk's intention is to stay in San Francisco. He doesn't want to go somewhere else. He doesn't want to move. He probably loves Brock Purdy. He loves his. I'm sure he's mad about his usage. Like, you got to also remember that he's really been out of shape about how he wasn't used. For everybody that's saying Aiyuk's just, you know, this is business, he was very adamant. You know, the whole social media, like taking stuff down, Niner related, everybody said. And then all of a sudden, you know, talking about how you going to not use a player, you know, in a Super Bowl. How you not going to throw to me? I think it was his girlfriend going crazy on Twitter, like in Instagram, in the stories about we're never going back there or whatever it was. Like, does everybody act like that didn't happen? You know, and everybody's going to write that off and say he was just mad. Well, you're not going to tie that at all to this situation. You're just going to say it's very, very separate. Like, Aiyuk was so mad, but he's fine now. He's fine now. The chances of him not being in San Francisco next year are 10% at most. But like the Tyreek Hill situation, he could trigger something. I'm sorry, the phone lines were not open. Dial in. Now they're open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Okay. Aiyuk and Debo were not open. Nothing to be mad at, says Jolts. Sure, Jolts. Were you watching the same game as me? What are you talking about? Aiyuk was wide open. Don't you go to my Instagram and watch the video clip that has, I think, 1 million views on it, where Aiyuk is wide open at the top of the screen. Now this is where Jolts comes in and says, "But he was getting hit." Don't try and change what you're saying. You said he wasn't open. Aiyuk was open. Maybe what you meant to say was Aiyuk was open, but Purdy wasn't able to throw to him because he was getting hit. Is that what you mean? I think that's probably what you mean. Ron Navy, appreciate you. Rock Out with a $5 holler. My boy, Rock Out. Why does the Niners do this to their players, making them wait so long? Fans going at them the Niners way doesn't really work. Exactly. Rock Out. Appreciate your $5 holler. Rock Out to the freaking moon.
To the moon.
Rock Out. Appreciate you, my boy. Thank you, Rock Out. Aiyuk is always open. The most open receiver in the league, says Prime. Which he is. I love Jolts. He wasn't open. He wasn't open. He was wide open, Jolts. He was wide open. The Super Bowl, it was winnable. Like the Niners celebrate a victory. You win a Super Bowl. Aiyuk was wide open at the end of the game. What are you talking about? That's why he's mad. You think Aiyuk saying, don't throw to your wide receiver? This is garbage. Aiyuk was wide open. Now you can't clarify. Of course, I get it. I get it. These are all Niner logos. I get it. BA was open, but the problem was the right tackle. I get it, but you can't say he wasn't open. He's pissed off that some quarterback still would have thrown it up. He still didn't see him. I know the pocket was collapsing. I get it, but Aiyuk was still, the receiver or the defensive back was it Snead? Already tripped and fell. Aiyuk was already past him by a foot before Aiyuk even before Purdy attempted to throw. Purdy was not looking in that direction. Had he seen him while he was getting hit, he would have thrown it there instead of the overthrow to the right side of the field, which was also, I believe, Jennings wide open. So let's stop twisting it up. Okay, I'm not blaming it on Purdy necessarily. I'm just saying Aiyuk was open. He was open. His defender was on the ground. Aiyuk was alone in the end zone for a Super Bowl win. So let's not pretend that he wasn't open. That's all I'm saying. Old man just became a member. Appreciate you, old man. I think we got a lot of gifted memberships coming in. Let me see who did that. So Ron, I take the gifted membership if you were handing them out. So he's thanking you, Ron. Gifted membership. Thank you. Whoever, I think it was Ron. Ron dropped 10. Yeah, that was probably you that got it from Ron. Thank you. Appreciate you, Ron. Boy, this is a heated one for sure. We'll see what happens. The Lion botched. Do you believe in Purdy, Smitty? I do, but not to the degree that a lot of people, Niner fans specifically, like they would take Purdy over Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen and they wouldn't even hesitate. Like that's not a conversation I'm going to have. Does Purdy have the ability to be a top 10 quarterback? I think he does, but is he a lock inside the top 10 quarterbacks? No. Like one season, the system, all the talent around him. You take Trent Williams out of the game, and he's definitely not the same quarterback. We've seen that. You take Christian McCaffrey out the field, he's not going to be anywhere near the same quarterback. I don't care what 2023 numbers may have projected or looked like or painted a picture about. You're asking me the question, do I believe in him? Not, hey, how did he do in 2023 statistically in this time for Smitty? That's not the question you're asking me, right? So TM42 saying, do I believe in Purdy? I believe in him, but he's not on the same level as Jalen Hurts from an NFL perspective. He's not on the same level as Josh Allen by any means. He's not in the top 5. Stroud's a much better quarterback, so more far advanced. Burrow's better. Patrick Mahomes is better. You got Lamar's better, and that's the funny part is the Niner fans be like, Lamar got beat. Are we really defining? Okay, so Dan Marino sucked. Like, are we really defining whether I believe in a quarterback because of what happened to Lamar with no support whatsoever, carrying the entire team on his back? You take Christian McCaffrey on the field, and Purdy would have been beat 2 rounds earlier. Not to mention the Niners really did get beat by Green Bay and Detroit and just through some amazing luck won both those games, especially the Detroit Lions game. That was insane. Hats off to the Niners. They got it done. And in all fairness, if the Lions had won that way, we all would have said the same critical things about the Lions would have been, because they didn't deserve to win the game, so it's a different perspective, though. Niners should have beat the Lions, so it was a different expectation. The Niners should have crushed the Green Bay Packers, but the Green Bay Packers played balls out, and the Niners literally almost lost all 3 of those games and finally did lose the last one. And somebody saying Purdy's top 5 is just literally living in the moment in Ninerville, which is fine, and I appreciate that. I respect that, but there's no way Purdy's a top 5 quarterback. Are we out of our minds? Are we out of our minds? There's no way. There's no way. It's not even close. Like, Hurts over Purdy, you out of your mind? It's unbelievable how many people think Hurts got figured out. Just wait. The Eagles are going to... I'm not saying the Niners aren't going to be in the running for an NFC championship. They will, as long as everybody stays healthy, especially Christian McCaffrey. But the Eagles are coming for everybody this year. What's up, Travis? You're live.
Hey, Smitty.
Yo.
I've said before that I thought it was, not a bad time to make a trade because of the wide receivers in this draft, and they could replace him. And like some people say, he's a system guy, which I think he's better than a system wide receiver or something. But I think their system can, elevate receivers because Shanahan is a good play caller and stuff. But the more I think about it, if I was them or if I was a fan, similar to what you were saying, I'd want to get a deal done as fast as possible, only because, and people will disagree with me, I'm sure, but as soon as CMC and Trent Williams start to falter, their window starts to close a little bit. I'm not saying for good or all the way, but those 2 pieces are getting older, and they're such big pieces to the puzzle, I think, that I wouldn't want to be messing with anything right now if I was a Niners fan.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy because, like, every team loses their quarterback, they're done. Like, if the Eagles lose Jalen Hurts, they're done. They're not winning a single game. Joe Burrow goes down, the Bengals aren't winning. I mean, they're winning games and stuff, but, like, they're not winning a Super Bowl. They have no Super Bowl aspirations at all, and they're not winning.
Last year.
Yeah, they're not winning multiple playoff games. I mean, the fact that the Cleveland Browns did as well as they did, and the Pittsburgh Steelers did as well as they did without quarterbacks was phenomenal. But that's like your best case scenario if you're a team that's great and you lose your quarterback. So no one's saying that if Purdy went down, the Niners were like, we understand that would be for any team. But on the kind of flip side or the adjacent angle, if McCaffrey goes down, Purdy's not winning a Super Bowl. If Barkley goes down, the Eagles could still win a Super Bowl. If A.J. Brown went down, the Eagles could still win a Super Bowl. If McCaffrey goes down, Trent Williams goes down, Debo or Aiyuk goes down. If one of the wide receivers goes down, they still have a shot, but it's a much lesser shot. But it's a totally different ball game. Josh Allen didn't even have Diggs all year because Diggs is he just dropped off, gave up. He was toxic, and we think Diggs will probably be traded, released. Something crazy is going to happen, in my opinion. I can feel it brewing. And they're dumping money left and right to, I think, make room for it potentially. But even if they keep Diggs is kind of not pulling his weight at all. So, like, Josh Allen's doing it all by himself. Lamar's been doing it all by himself. And he finally has Derrick Henry now. So it's crazy to me that everybody thinks that Lamar's garbage and not better than Purdy, that Josh Allen's not better than, like, this is just very, very biased talk, and it's fine. I get it, and Niner fan bases are totally free to feel that way, and I almost envy their passion around it. I almost really do, because it's just unwavering. But at the same time, they're very negative and toxic toward their their players when they request a trade or play this game, which is why I'm here. I'm almost here advocating for Aiyuk. Like, that's the crazy part. I got a lot of people coming up for my neck, and I don't care. I really don't care. It doesn't bother me. I got thick skin for it, but like people coming for my neck because they think I'm negative on the Niners. I'm not negative on the Niners. I'm advocating. I'm the one defending Debo during the entirety of that negative process, and I'm telling them that you don't want to do that to Aiyuk. He doesn't deserve it. And the fan base is clearly going to turn on him because I've already seen comments when everyone's like, well, if he requests a trade, screw him. And it's going to get nasty. And the problem is, I think Debo's a much more likable guy than Aiyuk. And I don't mean that in a negative way necessarily. I just mean that doesn't mean Aiyuk's not a great guy. I just mean on the surface level, Debo is the most chill, easy to like. You can't even hate. It looks like he doesn't have a negative bone in his body. Always smiling and doing whatever he can to help the team. He proved that playing running back. If the fan base was going to go at Debo's neck for requesting a trade, what do you think they're going to do to Aiyuk, who's a little bit more smug about it, right? Hey, are you staying with the team? You know, maybe he's shy or whatever, but it's going to come off as smug. He's like, if it's right. Like, he's going to get blasted by the fan base. They're going to come for him. And I'm defending him. I'm here saying, don't do this, Niners. Extend the man. And for some reason, I'm getting hate from Niners. Whatever. You know, real people know what I mean, and real people know what I'm after. I want these guys to get paid. I want Aiyuk to be out there playing football. I don't want him out there playing badly because he sat out all year and eventually got the bag. And then you got people that are going to come in, and they don't understand or pay attention. I don't know what it is. He's not going anywhere, Smitty. He's not getting traded, Smitty. He's going to eventually get the contract. He'll eventually get the bag, Smitty. No crap! No crap! At what cost? That's my point. What cost, bro? What cost?
Right, because every little thing like this is a little, nick in the armor, where just another, hit to them that could send something a little off course. And when you have a small window, like I reiterate, you don't want to mess with things too much. Now, you don't want to let a player run your franchise or anything like that, so you have to stay realistic, but there's no reason why they can't get him signed up.
This is exactly a very tamed version of what you're going to see, because Sean's a Niner fan. He came in here defending the Niner part right from the jump. Look at Sean. He want out, question mark, get out. That's Sean.
Right.
Sean, this is par for the course. Requesting a trade, scrubbing social media, very accepted practice, unfortunately. But for the fan base, they don't understand it. The fan base doesn't want to do that. Ziggy, show me the front door.
Okay.
Let's see who it's possible. Oh, it's the mailman. Ziggy, off. I don't know. It's crazy to me. If you want out, get out. Like, to be honest with you, if Marvin Harrison Jr. comes to the Cardinals and 3 years in, he starts talking about wanting an extension and he's going to hold out, I'm not telling him to get out. No offense, Sean, but that almost feels not like a true fan. Like, to be honest with you, I don't like that approach, and that's why I defend Debo. That's why I defended Debo. That's why I defend Aiyuk right now. I think this is not the way to approach it. I think this is the nastiness that the Niner fan base can be sometimes. They're a great fan base. They're very loyal, but they're one of the most vicious fan bases when they don't agree with the player. And the perfect example was Mostert. When Mostert got hurt, you should have seen the live chat the day after when I went live on Instagram. You should have seen it, how vicious. Not just like, get out, you're garbage. It was horrible. There was like threats, and people were so angry, and the animosity for Mostert getting hurt again. They were so livid. It was crazy to me. And I'm just saying that's what I don't like that. I think that you want to be loyal to your fan base, Sean. You're gonna get mad at Aiyuk because he wants to get paid. That's the process. That if you get to a contract year, Sean, it is widely accepted by every team in the National Football League, the NFL. Otherwise, they make rules about it that would make it impossible to even go down the road. They make fines that would accrue in the offseason or something, or they do something. They've done things to help hamper and give the leverage back to the team by not allowing holdout players to get their fines relieved You know, remember Zeke Elliott would hold out, he'd accrue like $3 million, $4 million in fines, and then they just waive him. And so holding out didn't even mean anything. They've changed some of the rules, but at the same time, these players are still leveraging, trade me, I'm getting paid. And I know that some of the attitudes are, you're getting paid, you shouldn't complain if you're under contract. Well, then change the rules, because the players very, very much will continue to follow this pattern because it's widely accepted as the process. So that's why fan bases shouldn't be getting mad at the player for something everybody's doing, and it's widely accepted and it's effective. And it shouldn't be as effective as it is, because Aiyuk's under contract. He really has no leverage other than creating a mess. And the problem is the KC Chiefs were not wanting the mess, so they did ship him off. The Niners would be probably more apt than any organization in the league to not care about the mess and just let it be and say, you don't want to show up, you don't want to show up. They may not force a trade that doesn't benefit them to get rid of the player. However, if the Steelers come knocking and they say, we'll give you the 20 overall for Aiyuk to take this headache off your hands, we'll pay him, then they say, you know what? We're not standing on principle here. We're doing what's best for the team. We'll take the 20 overall pick. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll save ourselves some money and the headache. The 20, and a Niner fan's going to say, no way, that's not fair. We want a top 5 pick. You're living in la la land. Aiyuk for the 20 is very reasonable. It's what you would trade a player like Aiyuk for, is the 20 overall. Whether you want it or not, I get that. It's debatable. But that is the value that the Niners, if they believe the headache isn't worth it and they're not willing to compromise on anything, but they say, hey, this is a good offer. You know, and there might even be something else added to it that would help incentivize it. But it's certainly crazy to me that the Niner way is to make the player beg, especially Debo, coming off of that amazing year where the entire running back room was injured by Kyle Shanahan. And Debo had to play running back. Not a couple carries. He actually, for games, was the starting running back for the San Francisco 49ers. Took miles off his life. Made his career shorter by God knows how much. And all he wanted was to feel respected in the offseason. And even though the Niners were already wanting to pay him. And here's Slim, who clearly doesn't know what's going on. Slim, it's okay. Go rewatch it. Even though the Niners were wanting to pay Debo, and they were going to pay Debo, they had every intention of paying Debo, they allowed all this nonsense to create animosity, drive Debo down into a dark place, start resenting the fan base that was slinging a lot of hate in his direction. A lot. Debo was very unhappy about the fan base, and I believe Debo was not really wanting the vibe anymore in San Francisco. It was that bad. It all got brushed over. I'm sure he still has some deep feelings about it, though, because he saw a lot of garbage come his way constantly. And so the fact that you have Aiyuk about to go through the same thing, even if it all works out, as some people don't understand that come in and say, he's not going anywhere. He's not going to get traded. He's going to get paid, Smitty. Pay attention. Pay attention. He's truly, Aiyuk's truly going down a road that is going to be bad for him. There's no good ending. Maybe it's a better ending than we anticipate. Maybe it's not as bad as we think, but it certainly can do no good to drag this out for the Niners. There's nothing good that can come of it. Maybe it's just some animosity, but Aiyuk plays well. Maybe he doesn't, there's no holdout really, because they signed him right after the NFL draft, but there's a lot of animosity, and Aiyuk gets a little frustrated by that. Who knows what the effect is, but it certainly cannot be a good effect to wait until after the NFL draft. And 100% was bad for Debo because he played like dog crap and admitted later that it was because the team didn't get him in there. He wasn't prepared. He wasn't mentally prepared. He was drained by it all. And he said that him and Shanahan, when they met after the very bad season Debo had after getting his contract, they said, and Debo very carefully worded it as if putting blame on the Niners, but letting it go, said we put it behind us. Clearly pissed off the way it went down. You want that for Aiyuk? Why are we rinsing and repeating? Why are we rinsing and repeating on a formula that makes a player not play as well? I don't understand it at all. It doesn't make any sense. And all that, he'll be fine. He'll sign his contract. You aren't paying attention. Let me go over to Ron real quick. Ron, you're live. Ron's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Let me set you guys up and let you know. So he probably is making room for Aiyuk as we speak.
Omar Khan, he's working his magic, baby. It's all over the Steelers site about Aiyuk and possibly. Well, they had Williams, but
what are you hearing anyway?
Williams,
Let me preface that this is all smoke probably right now. Okay, hold on, Ron. Let me preface. No one's saying any of this that Ron's saying is factual. This is just what he's reading on social media. It's the nature of smoke season. People get so pissed off when you report on smoke, and especially when you report on a smoke that they don't like. Oh, I'm a Niner fan. Don't just report on that smoke. But then you love when the smoke's being reported on the other side of the fence all the time. So it's hypocritical to be like, oh, but you can't report on Niner smoke. This is smoke. But let's hear what the smoke is telling us. Ron, what are you seeing in your Pittsburgh local situation? Go ahead.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of people talking about Aiyuk being one of the possibilities. Steelers are going to get a big wide receiver. That's what they're going to do. Khan is out there. He's working his magic. They're going to get a wide receiver. Aiyuk is definitely in the conversation, especially over Debo right now because he's younger than Debo. And Omar Khan has been working magic this year. He's been fleecing teams. He's just, look what he's done so far. So
the con artist.
Omar Khan.
This is better than negative, Ron.
Yeah, this is positive, Ron. Hey, Ron, the con artist, says Connor. The con artist. He's going to go out and make a good deal.
He's on everybody. Look what he got. Look what he's done so far. And we're staged. He's not done. It's been reported. He's not even nearly done with the free agency right now. So, Aiyuk coming to Steelers, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
it could be another.
Ron, we told you you're turning around on the Steelers.
Yeah, we knew Ron would be back. He's a little bit more optimistic. Just plug your nose. You know, like when you're taking medicine you don't like, it's going to be good for you. Plug your nose. I know Arthur Smith isn't fun. Just ignore him. You got Fields, and Fields is so underrated right now. At his cost of entry is ridiculous. I'm envious. I'm envious that you have a starting quarterback and Fields is also coming in. I wish the Niners or the Cardinals had Fields coming in. I'd be so excited about having Fields as a backup quarterback, the Wildcat, all the stuff that you could do. Oh my God! Like I would just be ecstatic about Fields' future in Pittsburgh. He's the starter of the future. I know he is. I could feel it in my bones.
I think I'm upping off on you a little bit.
I think I might be. I'm carrying you.
You're starting to defend players like me.
Well, no, I always do though. I defended Debo to the end of the earth, and even in the Niner live streams with Raj and those guys, I was the one in there defending Debo. They were all ripping on him. Everybody was ripping on him. Like, let him go if he wants to go. I was in there going, "What are you guys talking about? This is a player. This is your player." It's crazy to me.
Joke.
No, I know. But it's frustrating that people even shed negative light on my analysis over the Niners when I was out there defending Debo more than about 90% of the fan base.
There's even rumors out there. There's smoke out there that the Steelers are Aiyuk, Debo, Williams was one of them, and now there's some smoke out there about them going after JJ.
Yeah, there's a lot of JJ rumors. The Cardinals are linked to JJ. And again, for everybody that's going to get really pissed off hearing even someone mention these things, these are all smoke pieces that may or may not have any truth to them at the end of the day. No one's saying they do. But there is a report here. Let me put the Cardinal report up. I do have it right here. We may go live on, if this starts to spread, we may go live on this and address it. Not because, we think it's going to happen necessarily, but like I always tell people, if my show pisses somebody off in the tune of like, to the tune that they are like, this isn't true, why would you talk about this? This is not established rumor. Like, you don't understand the show. I'm going to stop even explaining it. I'll let my chat explain it. My chat can say, dude, do you know where you are? That's what I want people to say from now on. If somebody comes in here in the chat and starts acting like we're reporting on something that because it isn't factual yet, that we shouldn't be talking about it, even though it's widespread. I want my chat. Be nice and courteous to them, but be like, do you know where you are? Do you need me to give you a roadmap? The kiosk is over there. It explains everything about the show. Like, do you not want Smitty here live? Like, this news, if this gets spread out more, this is in cardinal sectors of the media world. Not widespread by any means. No Schefter, no Rappaport, no big media sources yet really talking too much about this exact situation, but cardinal spaces like this little space here. Okay, trade rumors, Cardinals eyeing Vikings, Jefferson in major move. Who the hell knows if it's true? We have nothing to quantify this. We have nothing to validate it. We don't, but it's floating around, and then we talk about it, and then we say things like, well, let's is it logical? What could they give up to do this? And then you look at the board and you say to yourself, guys, think about it. If the Cardinals trade for JJ, they're not taking Marvin Harrison Jr. They're giving Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Vikings. And then the Vikings are drafting a rookie quarterback, and the Vikings at 11, or they're trading up to get like Drake May. So the Vikings at the end of the day, if let's say there was some truth to this, if there was truth to it, I'm not saying there is, if there was truth to it, the Vikings could have the number 3 and the number 4 overall pick. Because there's very much thinking that the Vikings were going to trade the 11 and the 23 for the 3, take Drake May or whoever. They want JD5 probably, but he's not going to be available because Washington's going to know what time it is by the time the draft kicks off. So then the Cardinals give up the 4 pick for JJ, and now you have Drake May and JJ in Minnesota, and then Kyler Murray thrown to Justin Jefferson in Arizona. And while you might say, that's crazy, how could you say that? Because the Vikings are starting over. And if Marvin Harrison Jr. is as good as JJ to some people, at least in the future, they think it's possible, why would they not consider, not saying they do it, but why would they not consider a fresh start on a rookie deal? They've got a quarterback so they can line up these 2 contracts to be fresh starts and build upon it, rather than have to pay the bank to JJ and have the contracts not in line and you have different, building going on the squad. There's nothing wrong with the team wanting Marvin Harrison Jr. on a rookie deal over JJ getting the bag. There's a huge money difference. You're not just trading JJ for Marvin Harrison Jr. You're trading all that money, and you're getting a player that maybe the team likes more. It
makes sense for the Vikings wanting to actually get rid of Jay, because they're going to have to he's going to command to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league. And so they don't want to pay him that much money. So if they can offload him, they can start fresh, right? Like you said, they can start fresh. But the big thing is what team's going to take on and make him the highest paid wide receiver in the league? That's the question. And here's another thing, is you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but Shanahan, if people think Aiyuk's going to stay, and Shanahan is the type of coach that thinks he could take an average player, make him a superstar, no matter who they are, and he doesn't need to deal with these so-called ones that like Aiyuk or whatever that think they command all this money. He's going to move on to the next player because he thinks he's that good of a coach that he can make candy out of whatever. Didn't want to swear, but
yeah. Go back to Travis real quick. Travis, what do you think the likelihood of a deal like this would be? 'Cause again, for those that aren't thinking clearly about it right now, they're just reacting to JJ versus MHJ. It's like if you're the Vikings and you decided to move on from Cousins, right or wrong, you're going to get a rookie QB at 11 or at 3 if your Patriots end up making the trade for a 23 and 11 for 3, which is the most likely trade I could predict if I was to predict one. Marvin Harrison Jr. or JJ, if you were starting an organization right now, would you rather have Marvin Harrison Jr. on a rookie deal or JJ at what is it going to be, 30? He wants something like $30+ million a year. Yeah. He's rejected a $30 million a year deal.
So the idea is that they have the 11 and 23, but the idea would be that if they made that trade with New England, which I hope they don't, but if they did, they would then also make a trade with the Vikings, and they'd have the 3 and 4 picks to take May and MHJ, right?
Yeah. Like, let's say they had 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think that's the way they should go because they have Addison as well. So,
okay.
MHJ could be a stud right away, but they also have another receiver there.
On the flip side, as a Cardinal fan, I don't know that I'm 100% hitting the button right now if you tell me you're giving me JJ for the number 4 overall pick. Like, I'm not saying I don't love the idea, and at the end of the day, I want JJ over MHJ. But when you talk about the ramifications of the money and what it handicaps you from doing later, there are some long-term things. It's not like I could just say, throw the money at it. I don't need to worry about the money, right? I do need to worry about the money because as a fan, you want to be able to build around it, right? And JJ is going to hamper a lot of that if you have JJ on this $30+ million a year deal, mega deal. When MHJ, if you believe he could be the number 1 wide receiver in the National Football League, I don't think I'm pressing the button as fast as everybody would assume. So therefore, I don't agree with anybody that thinks it's not feasible. The Cardinals 4 overall for JJ is a feasible potential trade. It doesn't matter if anybody loves JJ as much as they love him. He's going to cost a boatload of money, and the Vikings are starting over. Context matters. And the Cardinals aren't starting over necessarily, but they're still kind of not in absolute complete mode. So there's kind of they're kind of got 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out the door in terms of rebuilding and going for the now. I mean, do I want JJ catching footballs from Kyler? Of course I do. But I just don't know. And I don't know if Perps is in here. I'd love to get Perps' take on this to see if he would rather have JJ or MHJ. And Perps, if you're here, call in or at least respond. I would love to know. And if we have any other Viking fans in here, please dial in and give us your opinion. Would you rather have JJ on the mega deal or Marvin Harrison Jr. with your rookie quarterback?
It is tough because Jefferson, what is Jefferson, 25, 26? He's not even that old. So
yeah, I think we need to do a show on this, to be honest with you. I think it needs to be done.
Yeah, I think we should flush it out with its own show maybe.
Yeah.
He's still 24. He hasn't turned 25 till June. So Jefferson, that is.
Yeah.
So that's a big factor that, if you're Minnesota and you're quote unquote starting over with Drake May, you're not paying a lot to a quarterback, so you can then just give the big contract to JJ and not necessarily make that deal for Marvin Harrison maybe too.
Yeah.
Because you can afford JJ more now when you're not paying Kirk Cousins. So you weigh the two sides of it.
Yeah, Birdman says he'd rather have MHJ over JJ. Guys, cast your vote. And someone said, where's the rumor coming from? The rumors are there's no truth to anything right now, bro. There's nobody releasing concrete information on anything. These are rumors around
I changed my mind.
They're all around Cardinal spaces, like the Cardinal fan pages and such. It's all over Arizona right now. Just like
I think I changed my mind actually.
What to what?
I think I'd keep JJ with the rookie quarterback.
I mean,
the Vikings.
They're both arguable.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if out of nowhere Buffalo got rid of Diggs and then made a play for JJ and got JJ on there? I'd say they'd be going to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I wish Buffalo was that smart. I love Buffalo. I love Buffalo. Buffalo, the Colts, the Arizona Cardinals, that's where all my family's from, those three locations. So like I have a little bit of invested interest in all three locations. Buffalo has been frustrating for me, for my family for quite some time. I know a lot of people think that I'm very biased toward Josh Allen. There could be some bias toward it because of that, but I honestly believe I'm able to compartmentalize that and and pull it out. Like, you don't ever hear me much talk about Cardinal, players unless I truly believe that Cardinal player is going to do well. I don't come out here and pump up Connor in a crazy way. I wasn't pumping up Hollywood Brown in a crazy way. I was actually overly critical over Kyler Murray during his little phase that I think he started to break out from. I don't think I bring a lot of bias to it. I think I'm very good at it. Reason being is because I actually became a fantasy football fan and an NFL fan at the same time, the exact same time. I learned football and played fantasy at the exact same time. This was when Jerry Rice was in the game. This is when Jim Kelly was the quarterback. Like, we're talking about when the newspaper was around for fantasy football. There was no internet or anything. Internet wasn't even invented yet. It may have been used by the military, but it was not used. No one knew what the internet was. It was newspapers. And so I started from a very young age of watching football and playing fantasy at the same exact time. I'm able to completely separate this. What's the source of that rumor? It's in all. I put it up there. It's in all of the different Cardinal spaces. I already told you that. There's no concrete source being revealed. It's all people saying according to blah blah blah, or according to a source unnamed. I've already discussed that. And Andrew, you must be new here. Ritter to the Cardinals sucks. I'm not happy about that at all. I'll just say that. I don't want any remnants. Ron, I think because I was making fun of Arthur Smith so much, karma got me, and I got some shrapnel, and Ritter came over to the Cardinals. Good God, Ritter's a piece of garbage, man.
Hey, at least you didn't get Pickett.
Yeah, I would have rather had Pickett than Ritter. Yeah.
Because you know what? I told you.
No.
What is going on?
What?
Pickett defender.
I like
and
that.
not no more because he started off. He didn't want to compete for the freaking job. That tells me a lot about his character. And
he's off the Steelers.
I'm
That's
done
what it is.
Wow, Rod just said he'd rather have Ritter than Pickett.
No. The fact, okay, if the Steelers would have got rid of him and he had nothing to do with it, that's one thing. But he had something to do with it because he doesn't want to compete. He doesn't feel he could beat out Russell Wilson and all that. So, you know what? Go ahead. Move on. I mean, you don't want to compete. That says a lot about your character. I'm
It wasn't going to be a competition. They basically said Russell Wilson had the job.
Wow. I mean, Ron, I can kind of understand Pickett saying, give me somewhere else. I'm tired of this. Like, we don't know that behind the doors, your conversations.
That's just.
I mean, Ron, you're telling me you can't picture an employer. You can't picture an employer coming up to you and like crapping on you in a backdoor conversation behind closed doors, and you going, you know what? Then send me else somewhere else. Like I could see what there might be something Pickett.
Pickett doesn't have the motivation.
All right.
If he did,
I'm not going to defend Pickett.
He'd fight up.
I don't need to come here and defend Pickett. You've done enough Pickett defending for a decade. I'll just leave it at that. But I don't think Pickett's great. I also don't think Ritter is even remotely good. So hopefully the Cardinals never have to use him. Hopefully they just move on from him. You know how somebody comes over and you think they've got some role and then they release him or they trade. Like I hope to God or Ritter just goes away. Ron wrote Pickett off. I never thought I'd hear that, to be honest with you.
No, he did to himself.
He wrote off Kenny.
No, it's the one thing. If he wanted to compete, showed that competitiveness, that's one thing. I'd still okay. And if they traded him, I'd still back him. But the way he did it, no, I can't deal with that.
Oh man.
I mean, I could just picture him in the military, right? If he was in the military, he's like, I can't do that. I'm not gonna have you guys back because grass is always greener on the other side.
Not in the military.
New York Jets bringing in Mike Williams. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
I like it.
Thank you.
What?
Mike Williams, the New York Jet. What do you think about it, Ron? Did you hear about that or no?
Yeah, I heard about it.
You can't stay healthy.
That's a big. that's a big injury concern. I mean,
Yeah.
waiting, and that's a lot of money to pay for a guy who's constantly been injured the last few years.
Yeah.
I mean, he had
Should've
broken
went after someone
back.
else.
Got, yeah, he could. They could have drafted. They could have done a lot of things other than spend that money on Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 15 mil. What's let me see the incentives on it. Mike Williams deal. Let me see. Someone said it's late loaded with incentives or something, but I haven't had a chance to, because I went live right when it happened, so I haven't had a chance to like read the entire deal. Mike Williams is scheduled
He could stay.
1-year deal with the Jets. I don't see any details on it right now. $15 million. Someone said incentives to reach. I don't think so. Let me see. I'll have to look for it, but I don't see the details of the deal. I could probably go to look it up here. Hold on. Mike Williams contract. Let's find out what is going on with this sucker. Nothing reported on it yet. 7 mil 20. So I guess I do see him with the Jets on his contract, but no details listed yet. I think everybody's waiting the reports and details of it. I don't think anybody really knows. Everyone kept saying incentives when I was live. They're like, incentives on it. I don't know.
How many times have you been live today?
How many times have I been live today? Just one. This is the first one. I waited on
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Silver was in the chat saying Yahoo is pissing him off because he's not getting notifications. But I know if you go live more than 2 times, it doesn't send out notifications after that.
Hey,
so
Silver.
I was wondering.
Silver, go to my Instagram, and when you go to my Instagram, there's those little circles right here. There's one called channels, and if you just watch those, it explains to you which one it's free to subscribe to, and you just click the button. And anytime I go live, Instagram will let you know. You'll never miss a live stream again. Travis, do you always get those from IG?
Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 90. I think 1 or 2 didn't come through at the most, but like 99% of them.
So that's the way. If you guys don't want to miss a live stream, go to Instagram on those little circles.
Definitely the best way.
Click channels, and then you just subscribe to the going live. And I think I have a video of me saying, "Hey, click this button if you want to know when I go live," and you'll get an alert. So, anyway, anything else, boys?
I don't think so. So this is going to be the 8 o'clock show.
I don't know. We're right at the 8 p.m. show time. I was thinking about ending it. I was thinking about ending it and coming back live on JJ, but I don't know. I think I think it would be a good conversation. I'm kind of waiting for another piece of news to drop on it, or at least another bigger source to pick it up, or a bigger, just all these local Cardinal like groups and Instagrams, and there's nothing really substantial on it. It's all just speculative. My guess is somebody was talking out of turn, and then everybody just took and ran with it. But I can't even find the originating piece of info that says anything about JJ and the Cardinals, and I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. BA is tweeting Tomlin. And to the defense, I don't know if you guys saw earlier, but like Raj came in all upset and crying about the fact that I went into the chat, into our group chat, and I said Aiyuk's probably mad, and that like pissed them off, and they're like, "What do you mean? Why would he be mad?" And so I don't know why Raj came in here all upset, but he came in all upset, going, "Smitty says that Aiyuk's mad. LOL. He's crying in our group chat." Like, and then it's I don't know what would trigger him to do that. He just got upset by it, I guess. But how could Aiyuk not be perturbed, annoyed, upset, mad, whatever word you want to use that's parallel, watching these other wide receivers get paid and him having to wait? I think I use absolute 100% logic. I mean, am I wrong? Is he like the Academy Awards when somebody else wins and everybody stands up and claps? Is everybody genuinely clapping? Are they going, I almost won, but I lost? Like, and I know somebody might say, well, everybody that's getting paid makes him get paid more. Not necessarily the case with the Niners. The Niners probably don't care what the market is. They have a market value in mind for Aiyuk. They're the one organization that wouldn't allow the outside market value, if it fluctuated, to really truly affect them all that much. Because they're going to set aside a certain amount of money, and that's going to be that. You know, and I'm hearing, and again, this could be smoke too, because we got nothing concrete. There's no way the Niners are releasing this information. It's all speculative. It's all hearsay. Somebody's hearing it from somebody and reporting. I'm openly admitting that. But we're hearing that they're very far apart. And if they weren't so far apart, Ron, do you think BA would be poking the bear a little bit and trying to make the Niners feel this pressure? Like, am I not being logical here? Why would Aiyuk tweet out a rumored team to be interested in an Aiyuk? Why would he send a tweet out and go, I kind of look like him? Like, why would he do that?
He does look.
Yeah, they do kind of look a little related. But why would he do that if he wasn't trying to poke the bear? He wouldn't. You wouldn't do that to your organization. If you were on good terms, you weren't upset, you weren't mad at all, or you weren't a little upset, but you're trying to play business, right? It's business for sure. But it's very emotional at the same time. He's very offended. And you don't do this if you're having a good conversation with the Niners. Hey, maybe I should go. He's basically saying, maybe I should go over to Pittsburgh. That's what he's saying. Whether he really means it or not, he's trying to poke the bear. He's trying to invoke some sort of negative rush over to the Niners to apply pressure. Am I wrong?
No. I don't think so.
Am I wrong, Travis?
He balled out, right?
Yeah.
He wants to get what's coming to him. What he thinks is coming to him anyways.
Anyway. Thank you, Raul. Appreciate you. It's funny, man. It's funny how people... Why would Aiyuk want to go to the Steelers with Arthur Smith if he get like 3 targets the whole year? I don't know. Because these players don't necessarily know what's good for them. They really don't. Didn't you hear Ridley say he wanted to go back to Jacksonville? Where he was completely misused. You know, like why would he want to do that? Why would you want to go back to Jacksonville? What's wrong with some of these players? Doesn't make any sense, man. At all. They don't know. They don't really know what's good for them. They're too close to the situation, you know? Does Aiyuk really want to go? Probably not. But is he getting irritated? Yes, he is. Clearly, or he wouldn't be tweeting Coach Tomlin to stir the pot. He's stirring the pot, as the term used earlier in the show by another person saying, stir the pot, stir the pot. He's stirring the pot. How is he not stirring the pot? Hit that thumb up button. We got 124 in here. Whether the stirring of the pot does anything, that's not something I'm telling you I know the answer to. I don't. I clearly don't. But it is what it is. We liking Ridley? I don't know what you guys think about Ridley, but I don't think it makes him all that valuable. I don't hate him as a wide receiver 3-4. Oh, Travis, you and I were differing on this one. Travis was shocked, I think, that I had him as a wide receiver 3-4, because I think, Travis, you said you had him as a wide receiver 2. I just don't think he's...
Well, I had him like wide receiver 20 or something like that, 20-ish, which would put him as like a back end 2, high 3.
Yeah, Ron, can you imagine a world where Ridley would be your wide receiver 2 in fantasy?
I would want him.
My wide receiver
as my 2.
Or even a high end 3, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if he's in the right place, I think he's still got a lot of talent. I mean, we were huge on him last year.
I know. I did. did like him a lot last year. I really did, and part of me wonders if I'm not giving him a proper chance. But at the same time, there is something to being out of football, and I know he played well at times, but there's no denying he didn't get fed properly. There's no denying that there was some drops and some reasons to be a little bit concerned, and there's no denying that he's going to another situation that could arguably be very confusing and not the best situation possible. Like he's not gonna be guaranteed anything. We don't know how successful his quarterback's gonna even be, and we don't know how much of the target share he's even gonna command. And changing teams is not good. He's getting older. He sat out football for a long time. Will they use him similar and just have him stretch the field? I don't know. Those are the things he hasn't done. He does better when he's not being asked to just go downfield, stretch the defense out. I don't know if that's why they're bringing him in. And the fact that he wanted to go back to the place that made him play very badly, I don't know. But he absolutely, in my opinion, robbed on that contract. Like, that was crazy.
Well, that's a good point. If
How
he
much
goes
did they
to
pay him?
Tennessee and they
Nine.
have him airing it out down the field, then he's not going to do good, I don't think.
His contract for the Titans was 4 years, $92 million, $50 million guaranteed, $23 million a year. Crazy deal. It's insane.
He probably wants to play more in the South where it's warmer. Probably don't want to play in the cold. And Florida's not a tax state, so your income tax doesn't get taxed. You don't get taxed on income here.
I mean, this deal was insane. What it does to the Aiyuk situation is make it more complicated for the Niners. 4 years, $92 million. That's $23 million a year. So $23 million a year, $92 million, $50 fully guaranteed. I bet you anything Aiyuk would have contemplated the same deal, if not a little lesser. And now he's not going to. And now they're further apart. They're further apart. 100%. They're further apart.
The Niners, it will be Shanahan's fault. So the Niners can point the fingers all at their coach because he doesn't put no value in player. He thinks he can make anybody out of anybody. So if Aiyuk gets traded, it'll be Shanahan's fault.
Yeah. And then
he just lucked out that he was the best wide receiver out there.
And then Judy getting this $58 million 3-year deal, and it's different, right? Because it's 3 years. He's only committed 3 years to the team, and it's fully guaranteed for $41 million. So that also further puts a damper on the Aiyuk contract negotiations because. And I know everybody wants to say it helps him, but it doesn't necessarily help him. I don't think people understand it doesn't necessarily help him. It only puts them further apart. It only puts Aiyuk in an unrealistic world. Like, as much as we love Aiyuk, let's be honest for a second. Does Aiyuk deserve to get... Like he was really good last year, but is he... How much of a product of the system is he? You know what I mean? Like how?
Back end, I see him as more of like a high end 2 than like a true alpha 1 wide receiver.
I just don't know that he commands what he's going to be, telling everybody that he's standing, firm on. Like I don't like if he starts coming out saying I want, and I don't know if he was in that live stream. And he was in there with Rachaad White and JD5. So it was Aiyuk, JD5, and Rachaad White, all Arizona State players at one point. And JD5 played with those guys. And so they're in the live stream together, and Rachaad White was reading all the messages while Aiyuk was playing Madden. And Aiyuk was playing Madden, kind of barely paying attention, kind of being a little bit like, I don't know, had the bigger attitude of the three of them. That's why I think the fan base is not going to take his request for a trade lightly. because he's going to do it. He's going to be a little bit different than Debo. He's going to come off a little more, whether he means to or not. His personality might be more like shy or quiet in his, he doesn't say a lot. He's kind of, he says a lot with his mannerisms. But he's going to come off as smug to the fan base more so than Debo. And when they got to a question, first of all, they said one of the questions in the chat was like, hey, who do you rather have thrown to you, Jimmy G or Trey Lance? And they all started laughing. And he goes, why are you going to do that to me? And Aiyuk says, Trey Lance. And then somebody goes, $30 million a year. And I think it was Rashad White's like, he ain't getting $30 million a year. And he's like, why can't I get $30 million a year? Like, so we know his expectation is not JJ money. But we do know that, and then his agent came in to the chat and he goes, hey, my agent's in here. Ask the questions because I got questions. And that's what he said in so many words. He had questions and he wanted his, know if his agent even had an update. Aiyuk's not like feeling great right now. Like you can tell he's not, he wants this resolved. Like, why wouldn't he want it resolved? He doesn't want to see, everybody says this is good for him. He wants to see these guys get paid so we can get paid more. He wants it to be over. He wants to know what he's getting. He wants to get paid what he's worth. And every time the value goes up, I bet you in some small way, he's like, damn it, I know we're going to be further and further apart. Come to the table and pay me like Ridley's getting paid at least before something else crazy happens. Because if JJ gets $30 million a year, which he's rejected, it's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. Skeets9211 says, Aiyuk will get his money, bro. Somebody explain to him if he's new here. Go ahead. We're live with Tyler. Tyler, you're live.
Yeah, I apologize. I missed the Mike Williams news. I thought he was way behind schedule because he didn't he tear his like the ACL or something?
Yeah, but he did that earlier in the year.
And now I turned it on and he's supposed to go to the Jets.
Yeah, you're a little bit behind there, but we'll catch you up real quickly. He is a New York Jet, 1 year, $15 million deal. Report is he's not behind schedule really. But he's an often injured player, so he probably got injured signing the contract. I don't know how he's gonna hold up on the year. Is he a good player to bring in? Look, he's a big-bodied receiver that's gonna command a little defensive attention, and whether he does well with it or not, it's one of those situations where at least Garrett Wilson will probably have a perception of not being someone you could double team on the regular all the time, because Mike Williams will be a physical problem. It's just a matter of like, will he, he is, Mike Williams is a problem.
Why would you offer someone that can't even walk?
Well, I mean, they want to do their best to give Aaron Rodgers the best they can give him. Should they have gone after Hollywood Brown? 100%. Should they have gone after Ridley harder? Yes, they should have. Would I rather have a rookie like Leggett or Malachi Corley? Absolutely. Do I make the decisions in New York? No, I don't. Do I think that a 1 year, $15 million deal is too much? Absolutely, I agree with you. But I will say, if I'm trying to speak about it from at least a positive sense at all, is that he's a big body and he'll probably make defenses kind of wonder where he is. And that's good for Garrett Wilson, as long as he can stay healthy.
Okay, thanks for catching me up.
Yeah. Hey, Tyler, what else you got? What do you think about the Aiyuk situation? Probably doesn't get traded. I'm sure we all can agree on that.
After playing the year that he played, wants to get paid. But I think eventually, you either have to sign on the dotted line or say, okay, I'm just going to settle for something. Because as you said, once JJ signs somewhere and it's a multi-billion-dollar contract because he's the best wide receiver in the league, I'm not going to get a third of that.
Yeah, if let's say JJ were to get his deal, which I don't know that he would because he's now in trade, that would really put to bed the trade rumors if he just signed an extension, right? I guess he's not going to Arizona, which no one's saying he is. It's just the rumors that we're talking about. A lot of these agents want a large.
If he goes anywhere and says, "Okay, I want a 3-year something," he's gonna ask for, more than Ridley money.
Yeah. So
he's
that's
gonna
what
ask for Yankee money.
Of course, that's what I said earlier. That if JJ's contract comes downstream, before Aiyuk signs, it's going to present a problem because the Niners are not going to elevate their offer like Aiyuk would want. If JJ resets the market at $31 million a year, and we all know Aiyuk's not anywhere close to that, but JJ's reportedly rejected like massive mega deals. Some have said it have been $30 million a year. That's going to reset. It doesn't.
Jefferson, he's looking for I'm going to set a record here.
Yeah,
I deserve it being the number one wide receiver in the NFL.
I don't know the exact number, but a lot of people have said that it's been insanely, high like that. Then what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Ridley money's not going to look so good anymore. It's going to be like, okay, I know I can't get JJ money, but I need something in between, and it's not going to happen. Higgins wants top 5 wide receiver money. So every one of these signings makes it so much more likely that Higgins could get traded. And the difference between Higgins getting traded out of Cincy and Aiyuk getting traded, one, Higgins is franchise tagged. And so if a team decides that they will want Higgins, they're starving for a number 1 wide receiver bad enough, and they're dumb enough to think Higgins is a top 10 wide receiver, then what they're going to do is give him a fat bag, have the contract negotiated, all ready to go, and then when they execute the trade on the draft capital or whatever, then all of a sudden the contract is announced right after the trade because you have to set up the two of them together. So Higgins has got a much more likely chance of getting... Hold on, Tyler, I'm speaking! Higgins is a much more likely chance of getting traded just because there's not a big, crazy interest in keeping Higgins in Cincinnati for the long term because Higgins' expectations top 5. So it's not even close. All right, go ahead, Tyler.
I totally 100% agree with you, but Higgins, that's the contract that's going to be the most interesting because Jefferson, he looks at every coach and says, okay, I'm going to write my own ticket. Whoever can match it, okay. If you can't, I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah. Well,
here's the golden ticket. Here's the blank check. All I'm going to do is sign my name at the bottom. You got to match what I say.
I don't know what he's... All right. Hey, Tyler, appreciate you. Call back if you got it. Call back if you got another one, bro.
You see that comment from breaking? Newly acquired New York Jets receiver Mike Williams injured watching Smitty live.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike Williams signing his contract, slips and falls, breaks his leg. They probably had an injury clause in it saying if you injure yourself on the way home, you have to put at least 48 hours space in between buffer. He's gonna injure his wrist mixing a salad.
Threw out his back after he sneezed.
Yeah. Wrenched his neck watching Breece Hall run. Ow! That guy's fast. That guy's quick. Mike Williams. Hold on, Mike.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
This just in. Mike Williams, newly acquired New York Jet, injured himself watching Breece Hall run. He was watching, wrenched his neck, said, that boy's fast.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
I probably need to create some sort of fake news button so that people don't get crazy on that and take it the wrong way. Someone's going to clip it and report it somewhere. Mike Williams injured. Yeah, I could see myself coming back live later tonight. I'm at least going to go 30 minutes into this show time frame because I don't want anybody showing up for the 8 p.m. show and not being here. Sometimes when I go live on something and it bleeds into the 8 p.m. show, I want to go at least 30 minutes into it so that I can consume a big part of that show. But we might be jumping in about 11 minutes. Yeah, whiplash, Mike Williams. Breece Hall is that quick. I don't know. You know what? Also, hold on. Breaking news.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Breaking news, Mike Williams injured his neck looking up at Breece Hall because Breece Hall is 8 feet tall.
Breece Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother
I see some
freaking.
more memes coming.
Breece Hall is so tall that Mike Williams, who is, I believe, 6... Ziggy, how tall is Mike Williams?
Mike Williams weighs 218 pounds and is 6 feet 4 inches
6'4".
tall.
He wrenched his neck looking up at Breece Hall. Unbelievable. He is a problem. What was that weight? Ziggy, how much does Mike Williams weigh?
Mike Williams weighs 218 pounds and is 6 feet 4 inches tall.
That's the wrong Mike Williams, isn't it? Is that the right Mike Williams? Ziggy off. Sometimes it pulls up the old.
That's his size.
Okay. Mike Williams size. I just want to make, sometimes it pulls up the old Mike Williams. God rest his soul. Yeah, he's 2. What is he? 2. Yeah. How much does he weigh?
218.
Yeah.
6'4",
I mean,
220 basically.
I mean, he is a problem, like on paper, right? If you're a opposing defense, you're preparing for Mike Williams. Like you can't just double team Ridley. I will back off he's garbage. Like he's not garbage. I mean, he does create. There is a desire to have a big body wide receiver to keep Garrett Wilson's roaming free across the middle of the field, doing what Garrett Wilson's going to line up everywhere, and Aaron Rodgers is going to make him an absolute gem. Jordy Nelson, here you go. Turn him into a top 5 to 6, 7 wide receiver. I think we're all going to underestimate Garrett Wilson because of the PTSD we had and believing in Garrett Wilson so much and watching him not deliver over and over and over again. We're not going to be able to help ourselves, but like be cautious with it. But man, if Mike Williams can stay healthy, and even if he doesn't have a great year that earns $15 million, just being 6'4", commanding defensive attention. It could be. It really is not that bad of a move. And given it's a 1-year deal, I don't know that it's that big of a. It's not a big commitment at all. It's 1 year, but it's not that big of a waste when you really think about it. I don't mind it from a Garrett Wilson perspective.
That's why I was saying if he stays healthy, I like it because they don't have a receiver like that. You know.
Yeah.
He helps Wilson, and he can just the deep routes he runs.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Off of defense.
I don't like him. I'm not projecting good stats for him.
Got someone else. But.
Right. I just, I don't mind what it does for the team. I'm okay with it. I think Mike Williams it's a good move. Superfish, thank you again for the $10 hauler. If I didn't give you a moonshot, I'm sorry about that. Talk about Drew Rosenhaus and Drew Rosenhaus is the Dolphins homer and brings players to Ross deep pockets. A lot of these agents want large contracts under their belt to acquire more clients. It's definitely true. Aiyuk's agent is going to 100% be thinking about this trade request before the NFL draft. Am I 100% certain he'll request a trade before the NFL draft? No, because we don't have the back end, conversations in front of us where we could see that, hey, here's the number. We promise you, Aiyuk, just stay patient with us. We'll give you this number after the draft. We just have to wait until, like, if that conversation happened and we didn't know it, that would be a reason why he, if he doesn't request a trade, because it's not 100% certainty. But if they're far apart in the way Aiyuk is acting right now, for anybody that's like unaware of what we've been talking about for the last 2 hours, Aiyuk is poking the bear. Like, you don't do these kinds of things if you're happy. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to tweet out something to piss off the hand that feeds you if the hand's actively feeding you properly. So Brandon Aiyuk, if he stops participating in things like this, if it shows him at the, if he's like excited and in some way promoting the Niners, something might be going on positively on the back end. But if I'm the agent of Brandon Aiyuk and we're in this particular place where Aiyuk's so kind of agitated he's poking the bear, then that the trade request conversation's happening between his agent and him, and his agent saying, look, I've been doing this for a while, pal, and these teams need wide receivers on this board. After the NFL draft, they will not. Your leverage goes out the window. Trade requests for what? To 2 teams that may not want to pay the draft capital? The more opportunities you have, the more likely a door is going to get open that's going to force the Niners to give you the deal that you want. Because guess what? You set the market. If the trade request gets accepted, or if the Niners say we give you permission to seek a trade, sure. And we don't know that they will. But if they did and somebody came and showed Aiyuk his market value, here's $25 million a year, and the Niners say, well, we don't want that. Let him go. Take the 20 overall. The Steelers will pay him $25 million a year, $24.5 million a year. We won't do that. Even if it's 24.5, we'll do 24.5, but we won't give him $65 million guaranteed, whatever the hell the number is. Then that sets the market, and that makes the Niners make a decision. Like, everybody just acts like he's not going anywhere. I'm a Niner fan. Like, I get you want that, Bob. I get it. I understand. I get you, but like, stop acting blind to it. It could go 100,000 different ways. He also very much could stay. Like the Debo situation, for those that are coming in and saying, the same thing happened with Debo. We know that. We've said that for 2 hours. And it didn't end well. Debo was injured. Or Debo was bad. He played very bad the entire year because he wasn't with the team and he was in holdout mode. Well, boys.
Smitty, Alec George, new loyal member.
Alex George to the moon.
To the moon.
I don't know what's going on with my alerts here. Hold on, Alex. I'm sorry. This is supposed to tell me when stuff happens, but it hasn't been. Pollard versus Swift for Dynasty. I'd probably say, God, I don't know. Those are very equally. I'd probably say neither. Like, I hate to say that, but I don't love their situations. I don't love Chicago. I'd probably say Pollard. Ski says Debo came in out of shape, bro. Aiyuk won't do that. They're not the same. Keep telling yourself that, man. Keep telling yourself it had nothing to do with the Niners. That he wasn't there. That he wasn't there at the facility. That he wasn't putting in the same kind of work with the same trainers, the same everything. I mean, you keep saying that to yourself, but it doesn't. Debo was working out, and Debo wasn't getting what he needed. Debo wasn't building rapport. Debo was off kilter. Debo blamed the coaching staff and said that he put it behind him and he wanted to move on and never put bad film out like that again. It's a mindset too, bro. It's a mindset. You know, you're not there and you're upset and the fan base starts getting mad at you because your agent tells you to request a trade because the Niners aren't doing anything. I mean, go watch the rest of the show. I explain it all in detail, bro. We don't need to go through this every time somebody thinks you can compare Debo's situation or not compare Debo's situation. Or just go rewatch it. I map it out like crazy. You're free to watch it. You're free not to. Whatever you want to do. Space Ricky, appreciate you being here, pal. Birdman, appreciate you being here. Belichick yourself, what's up? Superfish, thank you. James, what's going on? Follow up on Swift versus Pollard. Trade Connor and Swift for JSN. I mean, from a redraft perspective, I know this is a dynasty question, but like you're gonna take a little bit of a bath in redraft because Connor still could be very good. From a long term perspective, I'd rather have JSN than both running backs, but it just depends on what you can do right now because you know there's 2 ways to look at that trade. As a desperate Panther fan, I pray for Aiyuk. I hope to God you guys don't get Aiyuk because Alec, no offense, but I don't think you're going to be able to utilize him properly. The Panthers feel like they're correct me if I'm wrong, Travis, but doesn't it feel like both organizations are kind of building the same? Like,
what, Panthers
yeah.
What?
Like you're going to get a rookie quarter. You're going to the Panthers and the Patriots.
Yeah.
The Patriots are going to get a rookie quarterback. But like, look at the crap that the Carolina Panthers are bringing as their wide receiver room. I saw somebody when they signed. Who they just signed? They just signed.
They traded for Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, that was it. And when they got Deontay Johnson, I went on Twitter, and I saw people going, well, that's a great wide receiver room. And I'm like, what? Like, come on, bro.
Oh, man.
I mean, this is the word. Like, you're setting up your guy for failure.
Yeah, I don't get it but I wouldn't get it as a Panthers fan either. But from the Patriots standpoint, you know, they had every situation to make all the moves they wanted between cap space and a high pick and all that, and they did none of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only way they can bail themselves out is if they make a trade for like an Aiyuk or something like that, and then get the quarterback right in the draft. Because all the other avenues are closed. All the trade avenues, the fields, you know, everything else is closed.
Yeah. I mean, good God, they're just like, give Bryce Young something. He's gonna fail. And part of me doesn't think it's his fault, but you can't walk him in with Thielen and Deontay and just no real good receiving help.
I actually heard they've been talking, a couple of places in New England have been talking about that the Patriots might be comfortable with taking Marvin Harrison at 3 and just going with Jacoby Brissett as a quarterback. And it's like, why? You know? Like, who's saying that and who's approving that?
Well, if you guys get the number 1 overall pick next year, they're hoping that then in one full calendar year it's going to look amazing.
Again, that's one way, but you know, you're betting everything on that one avenue instead of giving yourself multiple outs.
If it was me, I would 100%, like I've said before, draft Marvin Harrison here, and I would have traded for Fields, and it was like the easiest decision to make in the history of the NFL. Like, it was just so stupidly obvious. They didn't do it. And not to mention, it was a 6th-round conditional 4. And for everybody that says they wanted to do right by Fields, you're telling me Fields would say no to a starting job with Marvin Harrison Jr. over being a player that has to fight his way and accumulate, you know, the respect and garner enough confidence to get the starting job pried away from Russell Wilson, who's clearly the starter, whether we believe that he's the best quarterback or not. You're telling me that you're going to get a no from Fields to go start for the Patriots? BS. I call BS and I call cap, and I say I don't even care, because if I'm the Patriots, I say, hey, forget the 6 conditional 4. We'll one up the offer you have. We'll give you the 4 straight up, and we'll make it conditional to a 3 or a 2. Look, if Fields ends up being the savior of New England, you'd gladly give the 4 conditional to 2 and say, look, you gave us something amazing. He's way worth more than a second rounder. Here's a second rounder. We'll give it to you just as a tip. Thank you very much. You get Marvin Harrison Jr. and Marvin. I'm sorry, you get Marvin Harrison Jr. and Fields. You got a team. But the next solution for me, if I'm this team, is I get back into the first round. I draft Penix Jr. or Bo Nix, and I draft Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3. I don't know how easy it's going to be, but it would be my goal. And the whole time I'd be trying to get a pick that could warrant me one of those 2 quarterbacks. If I couldn't get it done, I couldn't get it done. Or you go after... You know what I would do? Ron, pretend you're the GM right now of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
Hey, this is New England. We really screwed up. What if we gave you a 3rd rounder conditional to a 2nd for Justin Fields right now? Would you take it? Ron's going to say no.
No.
What if I just give you...
You hated him last week.
What is... Hey, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, it's Smitty again over in New England. We really screwed up. Will you take a 2nd rounder? Just straight up. 2nd rounder, no conditional. 2nd rounder for Fields.
Motion detected at the front door.
Number 34.
Number 34. Hello, Pittsburgh?
No.
Damn it, Ron.
Oh my God.
What? In a way, I don't blame Ron. I blame Ron because he didn't want this necessarily, but now he. But I would say that like if I'm New England, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I know.
What are you doing?
I'm with you, 100%.
And if you're the Patriots and you get, let's say the Patriots get a second rounder out of that, like that would be the best trade everyone would look at. I think it'd be at the end of the day good for New England, but like you'd be called king of trades if you could take a conditional 6 and turn it into. And I don't even know what that would do for the trade. Does that transfer over the conditional part transfer over to New England? And if he plays 51% as the New England starter, you get the 4th rounder from the original trade, or does it? There's probably verbiage in there that says if you trade him, then the conditional part's off the table. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Ron just squashed it anyway.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I would say
Ron.
New England should have went after Fields and then draft Marvin Harrison, but everybody, the Raiders wanted him, but what's his name from Chicago? He was valuing Fields too high, and everybody just backed out, and then when he finally decided to come down, everybody already moved on, and Omar Khan, man, he took advantage of that. He fleeced them for the second time.
But I just like a week ago, Ron said there was no way Fields could succeed in Pittsburgh. Now you won't give up the 34 for him. Last week you said there's no way Fields could succeed in Pittsburgh. Now you won't give up the 34. You won't give him up for the 34th overall pick.
Well,
I'm glad you're back on the Steelers.
Yeah, Ron's back.
Why would
It's a better world when Ron Navy.
Yeah, I'd rather you be obliviously in favor of the Steelers than not. So
To the moon.
To the moon. Back. Ron's back. Ron's back. All right, boys. I'm gonna let you guys go on the phone line. But I should be back tonight. I might be back on JJ. And maybe we'll do a draft at the end of that show. But I might come back on the JJ rumor. Just because, it's going to make a lot of people mad because they just don't like talking about smoke, which is hilarious to me. But it is definitely a worthy of being talked about rumor because it's spreading like wildfire, just like the Aiyuk rumor spreading like wildfire in Pittsburgh locally. There's not real good substance to it, but it's out there. And, I'm sure that Tyreek Hill getting traded was smoke too. That felt very much unrealistic to everybody. Like, these things need to be talked about when they're potentially possible, especially when there's some rumors to it. But maybe we'll come back with the JJ stuff. And I'll try and find some more sources so I have multiple things to put on screen at least. If not, then maybe
it's funny. It's funny because there's a lot of, like you said, not a lot of substance, but when you search like Justin Jefferson trade or whatever on X or Twitter, there's like every fan base has something about how their team is going to go get him or how their team, is going to figure out a way to get him. So it's like every fan base right now is trying to find a way to get JJ on their team.
Yeah. and I mean,
JJ
the other thing people got to remember is that he wanted Cousins. They didn't give him that. And you got to blame Minnesota for that because I firmly believe they did not try hard at all. I think they, like I've said for years, they've wanted to move on from him. They've always made him feel second choice. Yep. Even though they've gone back to him, they've looked around and they've come back and they window shopped and come back. And so I believe JJ's probably not super happy with that. And I believe JJ's rejecting big fat contract offers and feeling disrespected there. And I believe JJ's worried about the fact that he doesn't know who his quarterback's going to be. And Sam Darnold was rumored to be the backup plan. Then they brought him immediately over. So there's some truth to that. Then you hear and you see they're aggressively trying to trade up in the draft to get a quarterback. So we do firmly believe it's no longer Sam Darnold as their grand plan. We believe that the 11 and 23 are accumulating together to become like a transformer. One bigger, stronger, better pick. We think that they're coming for poor Travis Rose, New England Patriot, number 3 overall, and that Travis is going to be drafting at 11, which could be a blessing in disguise if you take Bo Nix or Penix Jr. anyway, I'll just say. And then you get that 23. But I will say that if even if they get McCarthy, who sounds like there's some rumors, and I don't know that those are true, and I'll break that tonight too. Maybe I'll talk McCarthy tonight with that rumor because it goes hand in hand with JJ. But there are rumors that McCarthy is potentially the guy that the Vikings like now, and he's been climbing up boards. I think it's not warranted. He's been climbing up to everybody's like number 3 QB, even potentially ahead of Drake May to some, which is madness to me. And if JJ doesn't trust this rookie quarterback plan of attack, he might not be wanting to be in Minnesota. And there's a lot that can happen if the receiver says, I'm not going to sign a long-term deal with you. Like if he was to say that, I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying there's a lot of this going on that we don't know about. And if he's like, look, you botched my quarterback. You didn't bring him back. You didn't even try. And you give me offers I don't like, and now you're going to pin me against a quarter. You're going to put me up with a quarterback that I don't know is going to be successful for how many years now? Maybe we do explore a trade. Just explore it. I'm not saying I want it, but I'm going to request a trade. We don't know. Or maybe it could be behind closed doors. Shop me. And if they're getting offers from Arizona, and Arizona says, we'll give you the 4 for JJ, you can come play with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's going to be a very attractive quarterback to play for, whether people, want to rip on him or not. He's a very exciting quarterback.
He's good.
And I think that you might see JJ wanting this actual connection. We'll talk about it tonight.
You don't think
speculation.
JJ would? Yeah, I like it. You don't think he would command first rounders to get him?
He's going to command the 4 pick.
Yeah,
no, but more than just 2 first rounders was what I'm saying.
He could.
I don't know because of the he could,
yeah.
But he also has a big contract attached to him.
Yeah, I think because there's no set deal in place, it makes it more difficult to ask for more. I think if he was locked into some like reasonable deal, that would be one thing. But you're basically saying, hey, can you take on this vehicle and buy this vehicle from me? Oh, by the way, when you buy it from me, you're going to owe $40,000 to pay off the vehicle. Like, it's kind of like a whole different. You can't trade a Corvette for a Jeep Unlimited in this situation. If you're like, just because I'm getting the Corvette, I'm getting a better end of the deal. The Jeep's paid off. The Jeep Unlimited 2024 is paid off. Souped up, very nice Jeep Unlimited. It's worth, let's say, $60,000. But this Corvette is a $120,000 vehicle, but you're going to have to pay for it on top of swapping vehicles. Like, it's just not, it's not even apples to apples, really. But I don't think you'd be wrong, Ron, if there was some reasonable contract attached. But now it's like, it's JJ with how many $1 million deal? It's going to be like $100 and I don't know. What's he like? Does anybody have a legit offer? Let me see if I can find Justin Jefferson rejected.
I'm just from the fantasy aspect though. It's hard to draft JJ not knowing who the future quarterback is going to be.
Yeah.
But if he was traded to a team established quarterback and to the moon, right?
Yeah. Here's what I'm getting from ESPN, and we'll talk about. I'm going to leave now in a second, guys. And I'm going to save this for the show, but would have paid him $30 million a year annually. And so JJ's rejecting $30 million a year offers. Let's call it $30 million times. He's rejecting that, so let's call it $31 million.
Yep.
$31 million times. Let's see here.
Minimum 4.
Yeah, 4. So 124. Probably $90 million guaranteed, or $70 million guaranteed, $80 million guaranteed. I don't know.
Yep.
That's it. Give me Marvin Harrison Jr. for free. I don't know.
This is a good topic for sure.
All right, we'll come back. Appreciate you guys. Call back in, Ron.
Thanks, Smitty. Later.
All right, later.
Bye.
All right.
All right, guys. Appreciate you all. I'll see you back here. Probably talking JJ. We'll do a JJ show. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for the super chats as well. We had Deckard, Rock Out, Ron Navy with the $20 hauler, Superfish with the 10, and we had gifted memberships from Deckard and Ron. And I think we had a couple people just buy a gifted membership anyway. Deckard with the 5, Deckard with another 5. I'm sorry, Deckard with 2 5 spots, and then Ron with a 10 spot, and then I believe somebody else grabbed one on top of that, I think I already called him out. So I apologize if I'm forgetting who the individual was that became a member on their own. But you guys absolutely rock. See you all later. Appreciate you.